morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We can feel the presence of the Lord in this place as we begin our time together today. So I'm going to invite us to join together in our opening statement of faith as we bring our thoughts, our love, our bodies, our physical mind, and our emotions together today for a wonderful celebration of United Nations World Day of Peace, which is tomorrow. We're celebrating today. So with that, let us begin our time with our statement of faith. Together, we are a vibrant community celebrating spiritual freedom and sharing abundant joy through love, prayer, and service. And so it is. I hope you all are feeling that welcome home this morning as you come here and we join together.
Good morning. I'm Michael Thomas. I'm your chaplain today. I'll be available in the prayer room after the service for anyone who would like prayers. And the daily word that I'm going to present today is from tomorrow. World peace. My thoughts and actions contribute to peace in the world. Gallon upon gallon of rainwater clarifies the muddiest of lakes. Collective prayer brings about similar results. Trusting this principle, I affirm world peace daily. I am one with brothers and sisters all over the world affirming peace. My prayers for world peace lead me to more inner peace. When I hear news about war or conflict, I still my mind and affirm peace. I deny energy to disharmony and focus on the presence of peace. As I center on the Christ within, I radiate peace in every interaction, from a conversation with a stranger to a heart-to-heart with a loved one. My thoughts, prayers, and actions contribute to peace in the world. And Proverbs 16:7, when the ways of people please the Lord, He causes even their enemies to be at peace with them.
So I'd like to welcome you now into a time of prayer. A time of prayer we call the prayer of the heart. So I'll invite you to get comfortable in your chair. Bring all of your attention to your heart space. And breathe in and out of that place for a few moments. And then feel the presence of God in your heart. It could be a feeling of appreciation, compassion, love, care, whatever that feeling is for you today. Feel that presence in your heart. And as we know, we are all interconnected, interdependent, connected by invisible fields of energy we can't see, always with our physical eyes. But we know with our spiritual eyes that they are always there. And when we send our love, the Spirit of God in us out through that invisible field, it goes exactly where it's needed. So let us begin by sending that heart energy to ourselves, filling our own physical body from head to toe, to our very fingers, with that love that is God. Opening it up and letting it flow in and through us. And then radiate out through us. So it touches the heart of every person in this room and fills this entire room with the energy of our heart. So settle into that heart space now that we have co-created. And we'll send our love out into the world. Let it go around the city of Charlotte to the places where people are seeking the presence of God today. May they find it through our love. Hearts that are hurting, may they be healed from our love today. Thinking of people in the hospitals around Charlotte, may they know the love of God, the presence of God, the power of God, that is within them and the people taking care of them. And let's send it out into the world and send it together to all of those refugees from Syria. Great compassion, great caring, great love for them and the conditions that they are living under in the present moment. And let us remember the children who are the refugees, and they're there all by themselves. There's a large percentage of children that are seeking love today. Let's send it there. And let's send it to the people here in our United States who are running our government and our law enforcement agencies, and hold the commandment to love one another. May we have that in our heart today. May we share that everywhere we go. For this is the day we seek peace. And peace will come when hearts are open and people have the intention to be that peace on this earth. So we'll direct our prayers now to the prayer box, and all people who have placed their names in there today, or will place their names in there or have at any time. We'll send them our love. And on United Nations International Day of Peace, we'll feel ourselves joining with that peace that comes from love, that is love, holding the thought of one world where all people live in peace, harmony, and justice prevails. And so it is. Amen. And I will introduce somebody who needs no introduction at all, if you've been at Unity of Charlotte even one time, and that's Lawrence Tolliver. He is our peace activist, and he has the Peace Assembly every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, collective meditation for peace. And today is his day. What we're experiencing today, Lawrence and his group have worked to put together for us in celebration of this time, this special time we're living in. So let's bring forward Lawrence Tolliver for the meditation.
Thank you, Reverend Nancy, and good morning to all. I'm going to ask Greg just to do the background meditation music as I bring you this meditation this morning. Reverend Nancy has already set the stage in asking during her prayer of the heart that we focus in on groups of people and children everywhere in the world. Let us center ourselves. Let us go inward to the place that we have gone before, when we decided to be still, when we decided to be receptive to a presence that in truth is everywhere. That presence is the Christ consciousness. That presence is the Spirit of God. Open, receptive, responsive, hearts and minds at peace. For this moment that we cherish. We love this peace. We embody this peace. It saturates our whole being. Its energies and consciousness flow freely from us into the unbounded realms of human consciousness. Flowing, radiating, bringing tranquility, cohesion, divine right order. And perfect harmony. Peace has the power to bring all of this. As we sit together in collective meditation, relishing the presence of God, relishing peace of mind, peace of heart. Let gratitude well up in you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. hearts full of love, peace, and gratitude. We say, and so it is. Amen and amen.
Welcome, Holy Spirit.
Welcome, Holy Spirit.
We are in your presence.
Yes, we are.
Fill us with your power. Live inside of me. Welcome, Holy Spirit. We are in your presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of me. You're the living water, never drying fountain, comforter and counselor. Take complete control. Welcome, Holy Spirit.
Welcome, Holy Spirit.
We are in your presence.
Yes, we are.
Fill us with your power. Live inside of me. Fill us with your power. Live inside of me.
All right. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Quickly, just a few announcements that I have. Oh, that was a powerful meditation. Thank you. We all felt that. I want to welcome all of you that are here this morning. And if we have anybody for the first time, would you let us know that you're a visitor for the first time? All right. Wow. Thank you. We have two. Thank you so much. We welcome you this morning to the service. We want to welcome to you that are joining us through television and you that will also view the service through YouTube. We want to welcome you also.
Okay, now I'm going to turn you back to our peace activist, Lawrence Tolliver.
Thank you. Thank you. And I was glad that nobody came up to get these Panther tickets because that would mean you weren't going to be around at 12:30. So the Spirit of God is working up in this place. It's that I just have a few things that I want to be able to share with you this morning. For most of you, I look sort of dressed up, but yesterday was a special day. I had a bow tie on. I figured since we were having a festival that it would be necessary for me to kind of dress up in a more festive way than you're used to seeing me. So that's why I had a t-shirt on with a bow tie. So I'm going to ask Juanita to step in. She's out there trying to act like she don't belong. And you all know Juanita, and so you know Juanita belongs wherever she is. So I do want to say some things about the leadership that stepped up and the volunteers that stepped up yesterday for our Community Peace Festival. Every one of you that was here yesterday and participated in one way or another, if you were picking up litter, hanging up signs, or blowing balloons, stand up so that folks can see what level of participation we had. Please, yeah, don't be bashful. Yes. We had a very glorious time, and I want to tell you that I put Bob Sokol and Juanita through a few changes. They had to keep me from losing faith in the event. So I want you to know that some of you already know that when Juanita makes up her mind, That is the bottom line. So if you're going to partner with her for a project, you're going to finish what you start. Now, I want you to know that. You are absolutely going to finish what you start. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yes, ma'am. We're so glad that the youth ed department came together in such a mighty way to make yesterday such a success, and we were able to give away 2 $100 gift certificates to Compare Foods. And so a dear friend who actually did pick up the litter grabber and go around and pick up the litter. She doesn't even belong to the church here, but she just volunteered. Oh, I know how to pick up the litter. Give me the stick. And so she did and did it. And she ended up winning one of those $100 dudes. So she was planting some seeds right there, wasn't she? And it was a good thing. Well, I want you to know a little bit more about my background than you currently do. I want you to know something. I'm going to own something. I have a very good friend over here on the right. She's got an iPhone trying to take pictures. She don't like me to point her out. Her name is Sharon, and she's the redhead over here. And so Sharon, Sharon and I had fun talking about something on the phone about a month ago, and I don't know why it brought her to tears, but it did bring her to tears. We were talking about owning our heritage, and it was a subject that I brought up, and I'm going to bring it up to you. This morning, Reverend David was in his office and getting prepared for the day, and he asked me how he ought to introduce me at the 12:30 program. And I shared with him some of the thoughts that I had shared with Sharon. And this is the way this thought came out. I come from a long, long history of jackleg preachers. And I'm owning it. And some of you may have in your own families some of those guys that just feel the spirit, and they just got to get out there and do something with it. Hallelujah. I see some vigorous heads shaking, as if you do know what I mean when I say jackleg preachers. So if you ask me for my credentials, it's going to sound a little shaky. I'm going to tell you that right now. I have a father who was a steel worker up in western Pennsylvania, and he and my mother gave birth to 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls, and somehow the Spirit brought them musically talented children, all of us, and some more accomplished than others, and it's a blessing to know how Spirit kind of brings together those that belong together, that fit together, that make for a wholeness. And we here today, we are part of that cohesiveness, the way in which Spirit shows up and it looks and feels so divine, absolutely divine. I have some training, and it's in religious science. Nowadays, they talk about it as the Center for Spiritual Living. So I am a certified and trained practitioner of religious science, and the philosopher, founder of religious science is a gentleman by the name of Ernest Holmes. And this morning, while I was doing my spiritual practices, I was led into biblical scripture and also into certain passages within a book that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote called The Science of Mind. And what that book basically is saying is that since God is infinite and eternal, everything that unfolds is in God. There is this one mind, this one consciousness, and it is this oneness that allows us to communicate with one another. This oneness means that we are all each unique expressions of this one God. And I know that sounds like unity because it is. Just two different names came forth during the same time period. Two different sets of people brought forth two different new thought religions, both steeped in Christianity. Unity and religious science, both steeped in Christianity. And I want to read just a portion of a passage from the Science of Mind. The title of it is, I Take the Christ Way to Fulfillment. When Jesus said, no man cometh unto the Father but by me, of course he meant the I am. And those of you who have studied know that creation is a consequence of a word, a divine word emanating from God. A divine word with which it identified completely. It said, I am the light. I am the life. It showed up expressing fully the word that came forth from its mind. The Spirit within me, within you, is God. The Spirit is perfect. And because that Spirit is perfect, your knowledge of that Spirit grows, and it destroys every doubt and every fear, every concern and every worry, casting out all uncertainty. So when your attention is drawn to your health, and you are a practitioner of unity, the practical Christianity, then you know there is no place in your thoughts for anything except the perfection and wholeness of yourself. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Christ consciousness. And for you to demonstrate your wholeness, you must have the conviction that God is only the author of perfection. And you are one of its expressions. Perfect, whole, and complete in every way. And for the demonstration to continue to manifest, you know, that conviction you have, that faith you have, is going to fulfill itself. You have to know that. And so, as we stand on the brink of global peace, those of us who are absolutely convinced that there can be no presence of God without the presence of peace. Those of us who have been on this spiritual path right here at this Unity Center, we are convinced that we are in the midst of a demonstration of global peace. And there is nothing practical that you can bring up to our minds to take us off this path. You can tell us that we are thinking in fantasy land, that we're crazy and foolish to be reaching for something so big. You can put all of that out there, but we're not moving off the dime. We're not moving. And we know that when we bring minds together in collective meditation, and when we pattern that meditation along very sacred lines, peace is just going to blossom forth as waves of peace. My good friend at the piano is Linda Gilpin. She and I have been composing a song, and we're going to try to give you the best of that song right now. Just imagine you've awakened to a brand new earth. It's an earth where peace and love reign supreme. That world where you once lived with all its fears and wars has released its mighty grip on you. Peace has long been overlooked, neglected, undermined. Too many thought it way beyond our reach. But the sages through the years have learned beyond repute that peace is the low-hanging spiritual fruit. Let your worship be your date with peace. Let every worship be your date with peace. In deep prayer and meditation, realize God's peace. Let your worship be your dates with peace. Others have awakened to this brand new earth. Waves of peace encircle earth every day. Every day we are free from fret and all concern. What a blessing peace is to each of us. Let your worship be your date with peace. Let every worship be your date with peace. In deep prayer and meditation, realize God's peace. Let your worship be your date with peace. peace. Let your worship be your date with peace. Let every worship be your date with peace. In deep prayer and meditation, realize God's peace. Let your worship be your dates with peace. Linda, thank you, Linda. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm so glad you like the song. There's a friend of mine that is visiting with his wife for the first time. Bob, just stand up real quick and sit down real quick. This is Bob. Bob was on hand when the chorus came through to me. I had gone over to our senior center where we both belong in order to do my water aerobics. And as I was getting out of the car, in came this phrase and this tune: let your worship be your date with peace. And I knew, because I know how weak my mind is, if I didn't sing this tune to somebody, I was going to forget it. So Bob got it. Thanks for being there, Bob. Now let me take a moment to bring someone else up here. And she is my very good friend, Reverend Dr. Margo Ruark. And she is the founder of Peace Centers International. She is an author. She's got an MBA, and she's got a divinity degree. She's got one of those DD things. Yeah, that's jackleg preachers don't even know how to deal with all of that. But nonetheless, she has a heart full of peace. And she just knows that there is a way for peace to sustain itself financially. Now, you know, that's not going on today, but it's going to go on because it's in her mind. And she's got a strong mind, a strong conviction. And because together we have really gone deeply within, and through our disciplined spiritual practices, we have realized that collective meditation is a spiritual practice that has been neglected, and it's time for us to bring it to life and to promote it throughout the world. Reverend Dr. Margo, the floor is yours.
Well, good morning. Thank you for that introduction. Thank you for that. And I want to thank Reverend Nancy, Reverend David, and all of you for inviting me back again another time. How wonderful. I'm so honored to be here. You know, this collaboration has been an amazing journey. I am just so grateful to be here to talk about it. A lot of things have happened in the last year. A lot of wonderful, wonderful things. But I want you to get real quiet for a minute. Just listen. Listen. Do you hear that? Shh. Do you hear it? Neither do I. I don't hear anything. Peace is that quiet. It's that quiet. But you might feel it though. You might feel peace, that power that's rising up like a wave. The only thing that's very similar to that wave of peace rising that I think everybody has felt, that we all can relate to, it's like at a game, a sporting event, where everybody is sitting around and then that wave comes around. And so we're going to do that right now. Okay, we're going to start over here. A wave. Woo! We're going to start it. Woo! Oh, come on. Let's try that one again. We're going to start right over here. Woo! That's pretty good. Okay, so just for giggles, we're going to divide the stands here. These are my saints right here. You all are the apostles. And you all over here are my angels, okay? Because remember your sections of the stands. You're the saints. You're the apostles. Or were you the angels? Which were we? No, we're the angels. You're the saints. You're the apostles and the angels. Okay. Remember your sections. Okay. We have a wonderful opportunity here when we talk about the waves of peace. And I've had a great time writing the book. And I've been on a fantastic, fantastic journey writing this book. And the whole career, 20 some odd years, that preceded writing that book, my spiritual journey, which I'm going to try to condense down into about 25 minutes. I'm a peace leader, yes. I'm a peace author, yes. I'm a peace artist. I'm a peace teacher. I teach about peace. I talk about peace a lot. But mostly, if we can go to the next slide, this is what I do. If we can go to the next slide, please. That's the name of my talk, okay. But the next slide, please, really talks about, this is my mission. I'm that guy, that person at the peace desk that sorts out the wheat from the chaff. I'm the sorter and the sifter. I go through ideas, I try things on for size, I evaluate them, and I like to tell people, based on my experience, based on the laboratory of my own life, what works and what doesn't work. Because there's a lot of stuff out there that people have written about peace and meditation that is simply, and how many people have experienced this, is a rehashing of a bad Xerox of somebody else's stuff. And you know, they've never tried it out because you've tried it out and it really stinks. It doesn't work. Well, I have tried things out and I know what works and what doesn't work. And with a few exceptions, which we have kept, by the way, in our very own special hashtag peace donor curriculum. We're going to get to that in a minute. We have put what doesn't work over here, and we burned it. It was great. But I am an instrument of peace, yes. But more than that, I am a sacred activist. And what does that mean? Right over here. The job of the sacred activist is to bring a sense of the sacred into the public dialogue on peace. Now, a lot of people think that this thing with meditation and collective meditation, oh, you guys sit around and you navel gaze. How many have heard that? Well, no. We have some work to do here. Bringing a sense of the sacred into the public dialogue on peace. Now, every activist that I know has some kind of manifesto that they nail to the wall. Well, a sacred activist doesn't nail anything to the wall. Actually, spirit nails it to the inside of our third eye, and that's why we kind of walk around looking a little strange like that. But no, seriously. we have received instruction from Spirit. And it comes kind of the hard way from walking the walk. And it comes from the inside, from walking the walk step by step up to the top of the mountaintop. From having seen the expanse of eternity. And at the same time, having fallen down into the abyss, into the center, and looking the animus mundi, if you will, the soul of the earth, into her eyes, and as you're crying in your beer in front of her, she is heaving at the devastation of the planet, and you realize, what am I doing? What am I really doing? So I've been to both places, the top of the top and the bottom of the abyss. And I've lived to tell the tale, and that's what I'm doing here today. And I'm going to share with you what I call my manifesto, my rules of the quiet revolution. Rules, my new rules of the quiet revolution. And I see some of you here in this section of the stands kind of glazing over. There's a revolution? Nobody told me there was a revolution. Well, I'm not talking about the political definition of revolution. We need a business definition of revolution. And that's good. You know why? Because we mean business when it comes to peace. The business definition of revolution. A revolutionary product, process, or idea is one that presents a workable solution, key idea there, workable solution that is new and exciting and is not like anything that has been done before or existed before. So what I'm presenting to you today is this: that collective meditation is the quiet, revolutionary way to arrive at peaceful communities and solving community problems more effectively than diplomacy, more effectively than legislation, more effectively than increased police presence, and more effectively than more prisons, or more effectively than stricter prison sentencing. Angels, do you mean business?
Yes.
Apostles, do you mean business? Yes. Saints, do you mean business?
Yes.
Let's start a wave then. Whoo! That's the way. You're with me, I can tell. Now, is everyone on the same page when I say collective meditation? I know you've had this wonderful resource here, Lawrence Tolliver, for some time now. Collective meditation. Apostles, what do you say collective meditation is? It is, what did Jesus say? When two or more gathered together with the intention of peace. It's not just two or more coming together. It's two or more coming together with a common goal, and we want to say to amplify peace. Two or more coming together with the common goal to amplify peace. Not just talk about peace, to want peace. It's better than wanting to fight, I suppose, but coming together with a common goal to amplify peace. That's what we mean by collective meditation. And that's our revolutionary idea with a quiet revolution, and we're going to drive it home louder than you've never heard before. Let's get to the rules. Rule number 1. It's all about the we. It's all about the we. You see, Lawrence mentioned Dr. Ernest Holmes first. In his book, The Science of Mind, he wrote this very interesting glossary definition of the word meditation, which we kind of glossed over. He wrote, the recognition of the Father within, the certainty of our oneness with the whole. The certainty of our oneness with the whole, the immediate availability of the power and wisdom resulting from this oneness. Such communion with God brings harmony to our lives and affairs, establishes the law of health and prosperity, and makes us a light to all who cross our pathway. You see, the oneness paradigm is spelled out very clearly here. Oneness with God first. Oneness with God first. Oneness with the whole. And then inspired action is a natural outpicturing of that. Whoa. You see, on cave paintings, now these cave paintings, there have been 700 cave paintings found around the world on all the continents that are 30,000 years old, between 10 and 30,000 years old. All of them have pictures of we on them. There is no cave painting of one person sitting in the lotus position chanting Om. Not a single one. The only thing that Ernest Holmes talks about the individual, and I don't know how this got warped into, it's a religion about me, it's all about me. I'm going to use my spirituality to feel good about me. It's a rewards system for thinking happy thoughts about me. How did we forget what happened along the way? It only takes 50 years of New Age blather to forget that. Peace is a power at the core of my being that I can use on behalf of the whole. Peace is a power at the core of my being that I can use on behalf of the whole. That's rule number 1. And it's been hijacked to think that we can use it on behalf of me. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2. Anger's good for peace. Now, some of you might not agree with me. In fact, I got a lot of flack for that one. But you know, meditation has been used in a lot of ways to circumvent conflicts in life in a very, I'm going to say, selfish way, but very phenomenal spiritual power. You know, what I've discovered in my journey is that when we get angry, it is a signal that we are sitting, just like this wonderful little animal, in a playing field that we have outgrown. We are simply too big to be sitting in such a small container. We need to play a bigger game with people who are thinking larger thoughts about the world that we live in. And if we are lashing out all the time at people, places, and things and getting annoyed, it's a signal. Our boundaries are being invaded? Yes, because they're too small. Get out of the little box, play a bigger game. Invite larger players in. Invite yourself to the larger game of life. Get out of the little box. The American poet, Dr. Stephen Levine, who is a Buddhist, by the way, said this about his fellow Buddhists, whose practice is to accept, 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 and never get angry. He said, dictators love Buddhists. And I'm sure that they would love a great many in New Thought as well, who think that it is unspiritual to get angry. Get angry and get out of the little box. Remember the call to spiritual activism. It is to bring a sense of the sacred into the public dialogue on peace. And we can also be asking ourselves that question, is there something going on here that is not about that, bringing the sense of the sacred into the public dialogue on peace? Is there something profane going on? Maybe I can address that and heal that and uplift that and bless that. Well, we know what to do in those departments, don't we? If you don't, you better take a class. We got plenty of that going on, right? Yeah. Yes. Rule number 3. I have moved from the never get angry mode to the no jerks allowed mode. No, seriously. Once you get out of that box, you've got work to do, and you cannot be distracted by those who would, as Lawrence was saying, be calling you names all the time, be taking you down all the time, be cutting you off with the knees all the time. Sweep off your own side of the street, including those who are not supporting the work that you do. Get yourself involved in a community that celebrates and uplifts you. I wanted to put this out on my front lawn, but my children said, "Ma, that's a little extreme, isn't it?" No. But I tell you, I'm done. I'm done with the intolerance and the hatred and the rudeness and the meanness that is kind of out there on the social media, the anonymous possibilities that people have to cut people down. And we really don't need to be doing that to each other. You know, we have a t-shirt out there that says, "People of peace turn toward each other, not on each other." So let that be your motto going forward. Now, if you haven't listened to Lawrence and David's talk from, I think it was May, that was a wonderful interview that they did. There's a portion of that talk that Lawrence says this, something like this: that we have been acting for years as if our mental training and discipline that collective meditation gives us hasn't been giving us the power to prevail over those undisciplined minds, those young people who maybe are bullies or terrorists or those who would impair the livingness of others. But guess what? We need to start acting as if it does. We need to take a stand and say, I know better because I am in new thought, and I'm going to take a stand, and I'm going to say that peace prevails, and I know how to make it happen in my mind. And if I'm not going to put that sign in my front yard, I'm going to put it behind my third eye, and I'm going to walk around like this until I understand what it means. Are you with me? Yes. Saints, are you with me? Yes. Apostles, are you with me? Yes. Angels, are you with me? Yes. All right. Rule number 4. You gotta wanna. This is a rad bike from the underside. Hashtag decide. You know, hashtag activism is a thing now. I guess anybody with a smartphone can be an activist now. That's a good thing. Very easy. You have no excuse unless you hashtag I don't wanna. You know, so much of life, the reason that this is there is that so much of life is about whether we feel like it or not. I don't feel like it. That's not living the spiritual life. That's kind of just drifting along based on the whims, your whims or the whims of other people. Why don't you hashtag decide something and then go for it? And then support your own decision. This is basic what we learn in Science of Mind. You know, stuff is not going to happen by itself because you affirm it. You have to support your own decision. So if you say, I want peace, yay! Well, good for you. What else is there? What else is there? If you're going to start a movement, you have to pick up your foot. You have to decide, I'm picking up my foot and I'm putting it in front of the other. And then I'm picking up the other foot and I'm putting it in front of the other, and I'm climbing that mountain. I'm deciding that, and I'm going to follow through on that, and I'm preparing myself, and I'm going to support myself in my own decision. And if I fall down, I'm going to decide to get up. And if I fall down again, I'm going to decide again to get up. If I fall down again, I'm going to decide to get up. If I fall down again, I'm going to decide to get up. Thank you. You know, I see this a lot with the young people, and I see this, you know, I grew up in an alcoholic household. Maybe some of you have read about this. For a number of other reasons, I see folks who are approval-seeking machines. They won't do anything unless they have some outside approval to do so. I see it, I'm a dancer, so I work a lot with young people. And we saw yesterday these wonderful children who have a sense of improvisation. They can make, and what improvisation requires is the ability to make a decision in the moment and commit to it. I see a lot of kids, a lot of young people who cannot do that. I asked some young people to do some improvisation, and they couldn't do it. They wanted me to show them steps and combos. Steps and combos they can do, because then they know if they're doing it right or wrong. I tell them to lay on the floor like a bump on a log. Am I doing it right? You know, sometimes I think that, maybe they never saw a bump on a log. I don't know. But I believe that finding one's value system, finding one's own true north in my own life has become one of these invaluable ways. And it came from me from falling up and deciding to get back up, falling down and deciding to get back up. That process. But it always came from that. Some people, maybe they just have it from birth. I don't know. But if anybody tells you that this is an easy journey, this is what I know from the laboratory of my own life, they're lying. The spiritual path is not easy. But I tell you one thing that is easy, and that is conviction. The ease of my conviction lies its power. And Ernest Holmes wrote this, and when I read this, I breathed a sigh of relief, because he was talking about the, working life by the, the toil of one's brow or the sweat of one's brow. And then he put this in. It's like a breath of fresh air. In the ease of my conviction lies its power. All force is supplied by the infinite law in motion. Things are always easier with faith that has its end secure. I can get up if I know the end is secure. I can climb out of the mud if I know the end is secure. Okay, rule number 5. Got to move on. Rule number 5. Beginner's mind. Be open to not having all the answers. Don't be an arrogant schmuck. What's good about not knowing all the answers? What's good about that? You're open. You're listening. Yes. Yes. Beginner's mind gave us the light bulb and 1,000 other things we take for granted. It also might just give us world peace. It's about being willing to try new things. And I found this out on my journey. The more willing we are to try new things, to cast aside that which works, or that which does not work, and keep what does work, the closer we are to finding the answer. When was the last time you tried something new? Even going to a new restaurant, for example. You've got to be willing to climb up on those skinny branches and even see things from a new perspective. Even to look at those parts of ourselves that might be standing in the way, parts that we were even unaware of. This is my rule. When 2 or more people tell me something I was unaware of about myself, like, "What's up with the tail, Margo?" I will turn around and see what they are referring to. Most people would say, "I don't have any tail." And that's that. But make some kind of rule up for yourself if you're getting feedback from folks like that. Rule number 6. It is what you say it is. I read an article the other day where some experts in spirituality said this about collective meditation. The problem with collective meditation begins when you tell people what you are up to. I'm going to my meditation group now. And people think, "You aging hippie. The 60s are over. That stuff is completely irrelevant to the young people you know." SMH. What does SMH mean, apostles? Shaking my head. You are so with it. Neil Donald Walsh wrote this in a wonderful book, which you all should have. It's actually, I think he's giving it away online too. It's called Communion with God, and he has a manifesto there, his 10 illusions of life or something like that. And it's this rule: it is what you say it is. If we keep calling anything, collective meditation, for example, irrelevant to the young people, we should not be shocked or surprised when the doors to our collective meditation group close, or lo and behold, the young people are joining other collective groups that are manipulating their minds because of their naivete. We know what to do. Why aren't we doing it? You know, and why are these leaders serving as such bad examples when they know what they're supposed to do? Instead, let us begin asking the relevant questions of those who are doing things right. You know, I think that churches across the board and spiritual organizations across the board are asking the same questions. How can we reach the young people? Well, I know that there are people who are doing very well with young people. I met a leader this summer who has a peace summer. 85% of his clientele are people under 17. He's got a budget of $1.5 million. I think he knows a thing or two. I got in my car. I drove 5 hours one way. I rented a hotel room. I rented a car because mine is a beater. Anyway, I did what I had to do. I followed him around all day. I met all of his staff. I had a list of questions. I prepared for a whole week for that journey. And he kept talking to me. And he showed me everything. Sure, it was an inconvenience to drive 5 hours one way and 5 hours the other way and go through all that time and considerable personal expense. You gotta wanna. But I don't think we can solve problems like this as lone rangers. I think we need to come together. Just one example. In closing, I just want to say that when we have little manifestos like this, from having walked the walk, and been to the mountaintop, and having fallen to the abyss and climbed our way out, and we've logged some of these things and we've tried things on for size, we got something good here. You know what these truths do? They unify us. They make our impact as a community of hashtag peace donor, hashtag sacred activist, hashtag wonderful souls, far greater than any one of us could make on our own. And it allows us to do the work that makes us come alive on the inside. That divine urge is oozing out of us, and that's what makes us the light. That's what people see. And they say, "What's up with you? Tell us your secret." And it allows a little idea to grow into something called the revolution. Welcome to the revolution. Thank you for listening. So it is.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
God bless. Have a wonderful week.